Maybe I'll be really all over the place today.
Yeah, I'm gonna really try not to. I don't want to scroll quite as much. Did the go live go?
Well, it's part of our. Yes. Yep. I think it's part of our charm.
So it's going. I I I, I can't bring it onto the screen quite as easy. Uh, my blue button doesn't say I'm going.
You are. We are live and there's sound. I verified quickly.
And there's sound. That's always
Good
good.
morning, Jeff. I'm going to start it.
You're gonna start it. Uh-oh.
Well, we're already 45 seconds in and you hadn't said anything about good morning
Yeah,
yet.
I was just gonna try something
That's the
new.
cutoff.
No good mornings. No. Good morning, Darcy.
Good morning.
So, yeah, it's bothering me. I don't know if I should click the button or not. Because the YouTube, even though the
Click it.
broadcast software says it's live, YouTube's little button still is blue and says go live. Select a new key below to go live. Yeah, it's interesting. Guess I don't even need to be on that page at all. Well, good morning, everyone. So, while I was working out why YouTube couldn't catch up with hitting the go live button, Darcy was filling you guys in or everyone in with an excellent story, right, Darcy?
I was. Was
Yeah,
I? What was my
yeah.
story? I forgot.
Well,
Grandma says good morning.
oh, so we have a good show for you guys today.
Yep.
Um, we're gonna talk about unicorns.
Yeah. We sure are.
What else are we gonna talk about?
Um, we're going to talk about space and um, some other science technology things. I don't want to give too much away.
You don't want to give too much. Please, no, please, please, give a little bit away, just a little bit. Oh, I'm just joking. It's funny. She wasn't paying attention during our earlier meeting.
That's not true. I
Yep.
just chose not to remember it so that
Mm-hmm.
I could be spontaneous today.
It's just kind of funny. It was making me think of like a work meeting where you sit there and you're there and you participate and you really do a good job participating, but then after the meeting, you're like, what did I do in that meeting again?
Yeah.
So it just
Yeah.
kind
That.
of it reminded me of that. It had that kind of feeling. So
I know. Well, the worst is when we were working together and you would call me right after. I'm like, great, now I need to start remembering. I started making a lot more notes when you would call me right after a meeting.
yeah, yeah. But then you would remember what those meetings were about.
Yeah.
All
Well, at
right.
least for another half an hour or so.
Yeah, not for too much longer. So Wednesday we will be talking about. Well, we'll continue talking about next gen wallets. That is also part of today's topic, and we're gonna revisit looking at the blockchain game that we showed and looked at the other day. That was kind of interesting. So I want to dive into that a little more deeply. That'll
Especially
involve
since
smart
we were both
contract.
confused about it.
What was that?
Especially since we were both confused about it. We
Mm-hmm.
couldn't figure out what the game was.
Yeah, trying to figure out what that was about. It was interesting because it was a sample, but it was just a little confusing. So I want to know more about it. And then we'll talk probably about NFTs. I mean, that's always something that comes up. I think we even got an NFT in this conversation. So we'll continue to always talk about those. Hopefully, we're going to have maybe kind of a battle like our space ocean one. We'll probably do something with NFTs. Uh, Maybe what blockchain supports NFTs better. You know, both of us will take a popular blockchain because Solana now, well, pretty much everybody's in the NFT game. So you would have Cardano is working with Snoop Dogg, Solana, Polygon, and Ethereum are on OpenSea and many others. So it's kind of interesting. So we could see if there is a better, well, the obvious thing to get off Ethereum is better in the way of saving money for gas fees, but maybe a different blockchain lends to more dynamic NFTs versus others or whatnot. So we can look at that next Saturday, a week from today. We'll be talking about space and ocean. Which one should we be exploring more or continue exploring if that one is the one we're already exploring the most? So, Darcy, which side were you?
Well, the question that you asked was what is most important to explore? And I think it's the ocean.
So, Darcy will be defending the ocean with Poseidon. I don't have a. I got like aliens to help me with space. So, all right, that'll be next Saturday.
Yep, that'll be fun. That'll be a fun talk.
Then after that, we don't have topics yet. So, as always, we have Grandma saying good morning.
I already told you that.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Now the whole world knows how well you pay attention to the things that I say.
Oh no. When did you tell me this?
Right when she said good morning. I said, Grandma said good
I don't have a timestamp on that, so as far as I know, it was just now. And it's because the other button I couldn't see, so I don't have my other thing in my other side. Yeah. And I don't have my ears on that side. So. All right, let's get started. We have a dinosaur leg that's missing or got thrown from its body. It says not all experts are convinced. That's funny. We threw out some other article because what was the terminology? It was contested or something like that. Controversial. It was a controversial article. You had that right up in the title. And now we got not all experts are convinced. So that would be controversial.
Well, you can't convince everybody. We're talking about.
That is true. An immaculately preserved dinosaur leg was uncovered in North Dakota. Maybe a relic from the day a massive asteroid slammed into Earth, bringing the age of the Novaean. Huh?
Non-avian dinosaurs.
Non-avian? Oh, jeez.
Yep.
That was funny. Non-avian dinosaurs to an end, scientists claim. That said, not all experts are convinced that the dino actually died on that fateful day 66 million years ago, or at least they're withholding judgment until more data. Okay, so what's up with this leg?
Yeah, let's find out more.
Uncovered a fossilized leg which had skin attached.
Hey, that's my uncle's name, Kirk Johnson. That's not my uncle though.
Where? Kirk Johnson?
It says we need the whole story. Yeah, Kirk Johnson.
We need the whole story. The approach has made many scientists wary of discoveries made at the fossil site in North Dakota. So I guess there's a bunch of fossils in North Dakota, and the way it's been rolled out has increased controversy. Okay, so what's up with this leg? All right. The new found dinosaur leg belongs to a Theosaurus, a herbivorous dinosaur whose name means wonderful lizard in ancient Greek. It's
because
from
he was an herbivore.
Huh?
Because he was an herbivore.
So he was just.
Oh, that was a nice one.
So he was just a nice lizard.
Yeah.
Yep. Guess if you go up and pet him, he might stomp you or bite you.
Bet.
It's from a group that we didn't have any previous record of what its skin looked like. Cool. They weren't feathered like their meat eating contemporaries. Leg was quickly ripped off. They're just contesting the day that it was killed. They're just talking about their little site. Wow. Okay. So, what they don't agree on is if it's the day that the asteroid struck, which I would consider important. But how would you really narrow it down to the day? So, you would have to have like rock and sand and stuff that came from the area or from another area, right?
Yep.
But what if you didn't have that? Like the rock didn't make it as far to North Dakota, but the lake did.
Well, the lake would probably be heavier than any of the rocks. So, like, there would be. That's what I mean. I don't think a leg would get thrown than a smallest rock from that blast. So there should be rocks around it from the blast. But then at the same time, just because there's rocks there doesn't mean that that leg came from the blast. Because how long does it take for stuff like that to get covered up?
What if a giant pterodactyl carried the leg and dropped it because it was running from the blast?
All the way in North Dakota.
Yep.
Oh yeah, if there was rocks falling from the skies. Yeah.
So I don't know if I would. I mean, it would be hard to take the side that I could say it came from a certain day, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at. Like, it's easier to throw rocks at the story than it is to have that. So, I mean, it's a good theory.
Yeah, maybe if there was like, well, I guess there wouldn't be any. It would just be a bone. I was gonna say if there was like rocks in it, but that who knows if it would have penetrated all the way into the bones and would still be there. Yeah, I don't know.
They have marine fossils jumbled next to the remains of the land animals.
Mm.
But they didn't necessarily get corralled together and buried at the exact day the asteroid struck. It's possible that heavy rains washed the carcass onto the same depression after impact, along with lingering debris the day of the event. It's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know. I bet they. I would say if they weren't. I was expecting for them to say it wasn't. This dinosaur wasn't part of this area, but at no point are they saying that.
Yeah.
So then why would you make a big deal about a single
it's
leg?
not that far though. I mean, it is, but it's not. Like from the blast site, it's um in Mexico, right? And then to North Dakota. I mean, not to say that that's a short distance, but you
Yeah,
would
you're
expect
exactly
some
right.
of the same animals. So, yeah, it'd be really hard to say that too. If it was from the other a different continent, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. It's just kind of funny.
But maybe a leg wouldn't have gone that far.
It had been big impact, good, really, really far. Cool. All right. Next, is it safe to feed cats and dogs a vegetarian diet?
No.
No.
Well, it's not. Well, there's all these studies now. Anyway, we can read it. Um, having dogs, there's all these studies now that where people have been feeding their dogs plant-based diets for a long time, and those dogs are having a higher um, chance of heart disease, and they're not living as long. So.
Well, I think you're right because it says it's a gray area. It's a possibility for some pets, but not all of them. It's never recommended to switch your pet to a plant based diet on your own. Plant based diets are newer to the market and the science is still developing. To make sure your pet gets enough of all the essential nutrients, you'll likely need a little help. So the short of it is no. You would have to know what your animal needs and supplement it, right?
Yep.
It says,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
I just like it's so hard because you really don't know what's in your pet food as it is. So I could see wanting to do like a plant-based diet because then you know that they're not getting, the really bad bits, especially if you're on a plant-based diet. But um yeah, I don't know. Cuz we looked into because our dogs have had one of our dogs had really bad food allergies, so we thought about making them food here at the house. But there was so many nutrients and stuff that you just can't get for them that you'd end up spending a ton of money just on like the extra vitamins and stuff. And I'm just curious like how they would make sure to do that with a plant-based diet also.
It says that animal proteins that cats and dogs typically eat have a lot of amino acids in the form that's easy for your pet's body to use, more than what's usually in a plant protein. Pets that don't get enough protein can experience normal problems like humans, weight loss, muscle loss, weakness, poor digestion, even fluid buildup in their chest or abdomen. So it goes on to say that cats in particular need taurine, an amino acid found in meat protein. In fact, they can't live without it. If it's not supplemented properly in a plant based diet, cats can experience poor neurofunction, reproductive problems, and heart disease.
God.
And then, so it can be done. Vegetarian diets can be done safely in both cats and dogs. Vegan diets can be done safely in dogs, but it's very difficult in cats because felines are obligate. Yeah, can't say that one. They're carnivores. We'll call them heavy carnivores, and so a lot of their nutritional needs are tied to meat specific ingredients. So
Hmm.
so only do it with the oversight of your veterinarian, right?
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that.
Yep. Interesting though. So turning a carnivore into a vegetarian or a vegan.
Hmm.
There can be an argument kind of made for humans, but I don't know about cats.
Yeah.
They were built to
Yeah,
do
that's hard. I mean, I like I said, I get why you would want to do it, but at the same time, it's like they don't really get a choice. They just eat whatever you give them. So
that. That is true. Till they decide to eat you.
yeah, yep. Yikes.
So, do you think unicorns can survive on a vegan or vegetarian diet?
I think so. I mean, horses are vegetarians, aren't they? Herbivores.
So, they're inspired by several real life animals. We would say that then if the animals they're inspired by could be vegan or vegetarian, then unicorns
Well,
would
I
be.
don't think vegan, right? Because well, Yeah, just when they're babies, they wouldn't be because they drink milk. But they probably don't drink milk once they get to a certain age.
And for those that do not know what a unicorn is, Darcy,
What
could
is
you
it?
please describe what a unicorn is?
It's a famous mythical creature, often depicted as a white horse with a horn erupting from its forehead. One of my favorite books has a unicorn in it, and he talks, and he's hilarious.
Oh, I was going to describe it as a horse with a carrot on its head. You were so much more eloquent.
That's because I was reading.
I know. Oh, no imagination, Darcy. I don't know. I'd say unicorns were popular when I was a kid. What about you?
I think, I think unicorns are always popular for all kids.
Why do they have
So
to be? I was gonna say I've never seen a unicorn that say they mostly did not have wings, right?
now those are Pegasus.
Yeah, but then Pegasus, is it a unicorn? I didn't think Pegasus had the horn.
They don't.
Hmm.
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't think so. You want me
So,
to look?
yeah, I was wondering if I was trying to think if I've ever seen a unicorn with wings. Because I've seen mean unicorns, and then I've seen the normal nice ones in pictures. And then you got Pegasus, which is a white horse with wings but no horn.
Uh, a a winged unicorn. Oh boy. Uh, Ceraptor, flying unicorn, pegacorn, or Unisys, which is hilarious. That one's funny.
So they do have it.
Those are the different things that you could call them. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah. Flying
So,
unicorn. I like that one. Like, let's just get straight to the point here.
um, so unicorns date back to about 3300 BC to 1300 BC in Southeast Asia. It's interesting. Side
Yeah, but
profile. Oh, go ahead.
I've seen goats with one horn. So I wonder if maybe, like, if they're just pictures, maybe they were just like pictures of
but
some
they
other animal.
but the images were likely depictions of aurochs, a now extinct wild ox. That's funny.
Not
So
quite as
unicorn
ridiculous.
was just an ox.
It's like a mermaid is probably just a manatee. No, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that'd probably be pretty equivalent. So unicorn just seemed to be a combination of different animals and had the body of a deer, the tail of an ox, a multicolored or scaly dragon-like coat, and a flesh-covered horn or horns. Despite
Oh,
physical differences, Asian unicorns were described as evasive and solitary creatures just as they were in later European records.
a fleshy horn sounds super cool. Like, ooh, no wonder they hid away.
The first recorded mention of unicorns in Western literature came in the 4th century BC. Ctesias, a doctor and historian, wrote down tales from Indian travelers and described horse sized wild asses with white bodies, blue eyes, red heads, and a multicolored horn about a foot and a half long. So they say it
Farted
was.
rainbows.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, don't they fart rainbows too?
Maybe.
No.
We haven't got to that part yet. And then they said it was likely based on descriptions of multiple animals such as wild asses and Indian rhinos. Mistranslations help transform unicorns from confusing composite animals into majestic white creatures.
Unicornus. I like it.
Italian explorer Marco Polo found unicorn stories didn't quite match up to reality. Oh, somebody finally questioned it. Somebody's like, I don't know if this really sounds right. I've never seen this. I've traveled all around the world. And he saw what he thought was a unicorn for the first time. Oh my gosh. The travels of Marco Polo. They delight in living in a mirror and in mud, he wrote. It is a hideous beast to look at, in no way like what we think and say in our countries. He described the creatures having a large black horn, hair like a buffalo's, and feet like an elephant. He saw a rhinoceros.
That's awesome. I like this guy. That's how I would be exploring too. Be like, oh, there's a horn. It must be the unicorn. It'd just be a.
And then in the Middle Ages, sailors and merchants introduced narwhal tusks to the European market and sold them as unicorn horns. Oh my gosh. That is so funny. So they would sell a narwhal tusk. Just think that you would be telling all your friends, "Look at this unicorn horn I just bought."
Yep.
And it's not.
Yeah, that would be great. I I remember this is several years ago. Somebody came and they were like, "Did you know that there actually is such thing as a narwhal?" They thought it was they thought it was made up like a unicorn. I was like, everybody knows that. Apparently, not everybody does. So,
So for those that don't, let's see, do they describe it? Europeans didn't have a consistent description of what unicorn horns should look like before narwhal tusks were traded. After the tusks arrived in medieval markets, unicorn horns were almost always described as being long, white, and spiraled, just like narwhal tusks. The common belief among Europeans that unicorns actually existed waned by the 18th century. After all, no one was able to find a real animal that matched the unicorn's description. Just funny. So, a horse.
or or an ox.
Or an ox. And then a narwhal, right? We'll include the narwhal because that would have been what people would have had. So, are all of them vegan and vegetarian?
I don't know. I feel like narwhals eat fish. I don't feel like they're plant eaters. Let's see.
We're pretty close. We almost have it. Come on, narwhals. Just eat. Would plankton count?
No, plankton is. It says they're carnivores. They hunt live prey and have highly specialized dietary needs. They eat halibut, cod, squid, shrimp, and other, what I'm assuming says marine animals.
Yep.
So they're omnivores. We were wrong. Well, I don't think you put it. You said what you thought they were. That would be really disturbing to see a unicorn hunting.
What do you think they'd eat?
um,
Like little mice, rabbits,
no. Well,
squirrels,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe
plains
squirrels.
type stuff?
Something that something that they could get with their little horn.
Oh yeah, they
Go
could
with the
just
weapon.
stab it.
Mhm.
So they could probably go for a little larger prey then too.
Yep.
Be interesting.
Get
Be a
some
little scary.
privacy.
Just think
Yeah.
if they hunted in packs and they were really good with their horns. All right. Well, we have
Yeah,
coming up.
the idea of
Oh,
a
go
of a
ahead.
unicorn as a pack animal is super disturbing.
You were thinking about that. That's funny. You were like,
I was
wait, what?
imagining it.
Yep. No, that would be they would be mean. That would be a little rough. And if they were good enough not to stab each other.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder how they would fight for, because I mean, if they're pack animals, then that means that there's probably a leader to keep everybody safe, and the whole, you know, lion king.
Maybe he's got double
Somebody's,
horns,
yeah,
like the devil.
two No, it's just a cow.
That was just a cow. It's a bull. Oh my gosh. That's exactly it. It's a bull that infiltrated a unicorn pack. And he's like, I'm in charge. See, look, I got 2 horns. I'm a freak. You know,
Yep.
I'm a special mythical thing. And then they're roaming around. And one day they roam across like a whole pack of bulls. And they're like,
Yep. And that was the end of unicorns.
they're like, we're not listening to this guy anymore. And then they weren't strong once they weren't a group and they were solitary. People hunted them, killed them. It was over. All right, 5-minute break.
Yeah, let's do it.
Your face is kind of funny. It was
My
like
face is
you
over.
did like an eye lift or an eyebrow lift, and yeah, it was kind of funny. All right, we'll
And
see everybody in 5 minutes for a section on space.
ooh, space. Can't wait.
Grandma was trolling me when I was downstairs.
And not in the chat? What'd she
No,
say?
she was like, "Where's all the viewers at today?" Yeah, not very nice. Not very nice.
Hey, you can't be mean to our one morning viewer today.
Oh, we had one more animal story.
Is the music off?
Mm-hmm. We did have one more animal story.
No.
There were some dolphins observed talking with harbor porpoises. Narwhals, probably. Telling them,
Narwhals
run,
talking.
run, they're coming for your horns.
Yeah, that's
A wild dolphin named Kylie may be
Oh,
able
boy.
to converse. Would you say, oh boy?
Of course, the dolphin's name is Kaylee.
Oh, that's so funny.
Go ahead.
Converse with a porpoise. A striking example of cross-species communication. On Scotland's west coast, in the Firth of Clyde. Wait, on Scotland's west coast is the Firth of Clyde, a large inlet home to thousands of harbor porpoises, and one
Can
dolphin,
you make this bigger? I was having a hard time seeing where you were reading. Gotcha. Thank you.
and one dolphin named Kylie. Kylie hasn't been observed with other common dolphins, of course. She's on Instagram and Facebook or whatever is popular. TikTok, that's the other one. In at least 14 years, but she's far from alone. On clear days in the Clyde, the Firth of Clyde, and then it's in the Clyde, a large saltwater inlet. I wonder if they just described that one spot as the Clyde, or if it is an actual kind of a marine formation type thing.
I'm gonna guess as some sort of formation, but I'll look.
Visitors to the marina sometimes can see Kylie swimming with harbor porpoises. No, they're smaller, so she's their leader. So she's taking advantage of the kids.
Just so you know, the Firth of Clyde is the mouth of the River Clyde.
Okay.
That's it. So.
Then I don't know if that makes, when I read on clear days in the Clyde, I don't know if that fits for me.
Yeah. Maybe Clyde's the river, or is it the Firth? I don't know.
Got me.
Maybe you just need to live there to know what he's
talking
about.
Yeah, that's it. You just have to live there to know. Or visit.
Oh, yeah. We could always visit.
New research suggests Kylie's ties to porpoises are closer than scientists imagine. While common dolphins' vocal repertoire should include a diverse range of clicks, whistles, and pulse calls, Kylie doesn't whistle. Instead, she talks more like harbor porpoises, which communicate using high pitched bursts of clicks.
Awesome.
And so the study suggests she may be communicating with porpoises, or at least attempting to. It's a growing body of work that illuminates a rich world of interaction between different cetacean species.
I don't know.
Clearly, species in the wild interact much more than we thought. Just kind of funny than we thought. Well, nobody was watching until we decided to start watching.
Cetaceans.
Cetaceans.
I googled it.
That cetaceans make me think of like mussels.
Mhm.
like crustaceans.
Yeah.
Years
That's
ago,
very
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying those are two very close words.
Hmm. Years ago, the Clyde's lone dolphin resident was partial. There they go again with the Clydes. Oh,
Yeah.
the dolphin's resident was partial to a buoy at the mouth of the loch called Kyle's of Butte. Oh, them and their names. So locals took to calling her Kylie. But nobody knows where she came from or exactly why dolphins end up alone. She got kicked out of
Aw,
her
that's
group.
the fact that she would hang out with this buoy is really, really sad. Like, this is my only friend. Aw. And like I can't help but think of like kids with their like little blanket or whatever. Like the thing or their little ant toy animal.
And then she ended up becoming friends with the smaller porpoises that were kind of like her and she could kind of communicate with.
Yeah. She had to learn a new language.
Um, they get separated by storms, human activity, or orphaned. And then others may simply be less social and prefer privacy.
That doesn't sound like her since she's learning how to talk like a porpoise. This is like the saddest story that we've done.
She identifies as a porpoise because of they captured audio and multiple encounters between Kylie and porpoises. While dolphins whistle almost constantly, porpoises never do. Instead, they communicate exclusively with what are called narrowband high frequency clicks. So they listen to them, and she was talking. It might be me barking to my dog and him barking back.
Yeah, but if you know your dog barks a certain way at a certain thing, I mean, I don't know if they do. I've never been able to tell the difference. But you did that same bark, then you would probably be talking about the same thing, wouldn't you? Maybe.
Yeah, it would. It like I would think unless you really sat down, if you stopped and then you compared things, like you were like, hey, this sound is for this sound is for that, like how we teach language, I would say. It would be more like the bark analogy, right? You kind of like, it's just a response. So you would probably know, hey, something's going on, but that would be about it, right? Or
Yeah.
this thing needs my attention.
Hmm.
Very interesting. Well, good for you, Kylie. You found a friend.
Yeah. And it sounds like these friends are probably better than the buoy.
Probably a little bit better.
Yeah.
All right, moving to space. We have a galactic spiderweb is dotted with feeding black holes. Scientists
Isn't
have
it this one
spotted.
bigger too?
Yep. I guess I got to do it on every individual page.
Mhm.
Scientists have spotted a cluster of rapidly growing black holes that offer a glimpse at something called a cosmic noon.
Ooh, I like that. I don't know what it means, but I like it.
Um, has the image has captured 14 supermassive black holes feasting on nearby material during a time when black holes and galaxies they inhabit underwent extreme growth, the agency said in a statement. That period of growth is nicknamed the cosmic noon. Occurred about 3 billion years after the Big Bang. These black holes were spotted in a cluster of galaxies known as the Spider Web Protocluster. Um,
That's cool. What is that? Would have been us. We wouldn't have been there if we were.
No.
That would be horrifying. 14 supermassive black holes
The
spinning
14
around
sources
each other.
detected imply that 25% of the most massive galaxies contain actively growing black holes. This is between 5 and 20 times higher than the fraction found in other galaxies of a similar age. Yeah, so you don't want to go to those galaxies on your next vacation.
Yeah.
You might get
Yeah, why
sucked
would you
into.
go anywhere? We have our own black hole right in our own backyard.
I still think that maybe black holes are wormholes. I know that's not something that.
That's a pretty cool theory. But yeah, getting through it.
Yeah, I know it's not really true. Because I think wormholes actually are a different phenomena, right? Or are they still. Have they been proven yet?
I don't know.
We're looking up wormholes. Uh, yeah, still no.
I mean, it makes sense that it would work.
And I don't mean theoretically real, because that could be an argument that could be made. I mean, proven real. So that's what I like to think, that black holes are wormholes, and larger ones that keep growing are ones that tie together maybe many different wormholes. Ooh, or other black holes, right?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. It's just
That
like
would be
a
cool.
major intersection.
Yeah.
Because I mean, to me, that's like what I dream about, fantasize about as far as space goes. That a black hole allows that traveling, and that's why we have one, because that's like our portal to somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So
We're kind of
like,
far away from it, though.
huh?
I said we're kind of far away from it, though, huh?
Well, yeah, we got to figure out how to travel a little quicker in space.
We need a wormhole to get to our.
We need a little mini wormhole to get to our wormhole.
Yeah. It's like those connecting flights. We need a connecting flight.
So, research suggests that the black holes are growing because of their environment. One cause may be that a high rate of collisions and interactions between galaxies is sweeping gas towards the black holes uh, at the center of each galaxy, providing large amounts of material to consume. Another explanation is that the protocluster still contains large quantities of cold gas that is more easily consumed by a black hole than hot gas. So,
Hmm.
interesting.
Picky eaters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll eat anything, but this is what we prefer.
So, our good friend, the James Webb Telescope.
So cool.
Its spectrograph can observe 100 galaxies in one go. So, one of the rules of building a spacecraft is to have as few moving parts as possible. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, less things to go wrong.
So, that's why we have built something that has 250,000 shutters. Okay.
Yep.
They're talking about the NIRSpec, a near infrared spectrograph, one of 4 instruments on the telescope that are just getting ready to open their eyes to the cosmos. It is one of he is one of 7 European scientists that have shaped the design of the NIRSpec, which is funded by the European Space Agency, and is now eagerly awaiting the moment when the instrument starts delivering data. So, what can this thing do?
Yeah, let's find out.
The near spec, with its rule-breaking 250,000 microshutters, will give the web's capabilities a boost. In fact, it will exceed more than 100 times the capability. Okay, so what does it do? It may not produce the most eye-catching images, like the ones that come from the Hubble. And if you haven't seen the Pillars of Creation, we will click on it right now and open it in a new tab somewhere. Ooh, look at that.
Whoa. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's where stars are born?
It's one of the most iconic images taken with the Hubble telescope. The Pillars of Creation in the Eagle Nebula was taken in 1995. The elephant truck shaped features in this iconic Hubble image are star forming regions made up of incredible monolithic structures of interstellar gas and dust.
That's
Some have
awesome.
described it as it looks like a hand. These are fingers.
Oh yeah, I see it. It kind of looks like a dinosaur too, or like a dragon. And
Hmm.
the light part up here is its head, and then its little wings coming down.
So this won't take pictures like that. It
No.
splits the incoming light into individual components. And then this light spectrum is like a fingerprint, reflects the light absorbing properties, thus their chemical composition. Every chemical element present in the observed body absorbs light in a certain way. So it's going to be able to tell what the chemical makeups of galaxies are.
Yeah, and stars and is that's how they've oh no, I don't. I remember watching documentaries and stuff where they did things like this to be able to tell um the different stars, and I feel like they did that to also find out about other planets so that they could tell what kind of um you know, if it was a gas giant or a planet with oxygen and stuff. I could be making that up, but I feel like that's a thing.
So they're going to fingerprint the stars.
Yep, that's so cool. I Yeah, stuff like this is mind-boggling to me. These are things that are confusing and awesome that people figured them out and they know all the different chemicals and stuff that make up the different colors and figure things out that way. It's very cool.
So this thing is a game changer. The number of objects that we will be able to tackle will enable us to start seeing how various variables depend on each other. For example, how the rate at which stars are forming in galaxies varies with the mass of the galaxy or its age. That'd be cool.
Very cool.
All right. So there's our cool image. Mars has two speeds of sound. Did you know that? I did not.
I had no idea. I didn't know there was such a thing.
Its speed depends on whether the sound is high pitched or low pitched. All sound travels slower through Mars airs like it was plural. Mars air compared with Earth's. But the higher pitched clacks of a laser zapping rocks travel slightly faster in the thin Martian atmosphere than lower pitched hum of the Ingenuity helicopter.
Yeah, but they
These,
reported this on April 1st. That's April Fool's Day.
news is allowed to be real on April Fool's Day. That would be like if you were working 911 and somebody's like, there's a bank being robbed, and you're like, haha, it's April Fool's Day. We're not going to send anybody. You're just joking with us. And then you could rob banks.
I don't think it's like that at all. But
You're just like, no.
oh, that's good stuff. Okay.
But the article was written on April 11th.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're doing
The researcher's report was on the first, though. But
the sound speed.
I think you're right. I don't think it was a joke.
The sound speed measurements from NASA's Perseverance rover are part of a broader effort to monitor minute by minute changes in atmospheric pressure and temperature, like during wind gusts. To listen to the wind, it carries two microphones. One was meant to record audio during the mission's complex entry, and while it didn't work as hoped, it is now turned on occasionally to listen to the rover's vitals. The other microphone is part of the rover's SuperCam instrument, a mass-mounted mismatch of cameras and other sensors used to understand the properties of materials on the planet's surface. But they also pick up other sounds. So, their colleagues listen to the lasers clack clack when zapping rocks. It doesn't do really pew pew. It does clack clack. So when you do a laser sound and you're shooting lasers, kids, you need to go clack clack.
Well, if you're on Mars.
No, that's what they're just saying the general sound is. I don't think they're saying the sound changes.
Oh.
It doesn't do really pew pew. When the laser hits a target, the blast creates a sound wave because I think I've heard a laser turn on and off before, like a high powered laser, and I think it does have like a snap to it. That's what they're kind of, I think, describing as the clack clack. Because scientists know when the laser fires and how far away the target is, they can measure the speed at which the sound wave travels through the air towards the SuperCam microphone. And then they were able to tell from lower pitch sound coming from, I bet, that helicopter that they fly around. Interesting.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't think that it would be different. That's so cool that it's different. That's my summary. Good stuff.
I'm just trying to see. So researchers can use the acoustic data to track detailed changes in air pressure over short timescales. In doing so, they learn more about the Martian climate. While other Mars rovers had wind, temperature, and pressure sensors, those could sense changes only over longer periods. And they were saying that this pressure change may change how the speed of the sound travels. And this is because specifically our planet's atmosphere is 160 times as dense as the Martian's atmosphere. Theirs is predominantly carbon dioxide, while ours is mostly nitrogen and oxygen, so sound on Mars travels slower in that different air.
Just trying to think of like all the movies that we've seen that take place in Mars and like trying to imagine them with like a different sound, like slow. Be a little off-putting. Like watching like a show where the sound is just a little off. That's so annoying. I wonder if that's what it's like there. You see somebody's mouth moving and then a few seconds later you start hearing what they're saying.
It is. It is. That is. That would be weird to see that in real life.
Yeah.
I guess you can kind of get that when you guys have like hurricanes and stuff. You just see words moving, your lips moving, but really don't hear
See, we're,
them. We
yeah,
say
words.
no words moving.
Yeah.
So it's because the carbon dioxide molecules behave differently with one another when sound waves with frequencies above 240 hertz move through the air compared to below. It's really interesting. All right, let's see. Do we have anything else before our final break? Oh,
Oh, solar eclipse.
yeah, because that'll be good. We'll finish on this. The first solar eclipse of 2022 is coming on April 30th. Who gets to see it? Antarctica and the southern tip of America.
South America.
The southern tip of South America, yes. That is funny.
Let's go ahead and just add that in there while we're at it.
Yeah. In the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. So not very many people get to see this. The solar eclipse will begin at 2:45 p.m. when it will be first visible to sky watchers in the visibility area. The maximum eclipse will be at 4:41, with the eclipse ending at 6:37. Wow, that's a nice, slow, long one.
That is a long time. Wonder. Wow. I mean, we know what they are now.
A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the Earth and the sun. In this case, thereby partly obscures the sun for viewers on Earth. During this month's partial solar eclipse, the maximum of 54% of the sun will be obscured. A maximum of 54% of the sun will be obscured by the moon.
That'll just look like dusk.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Did you see the last solar? Did you watch the last solar eclipse?
Nope.
Went over the. Oh.
I've seen one. Burned my eyes. I can't look at it anymore.
I actually did burn my eyes. I tried really hard to make sure that I didn't do it, and then I did, and I felt really stupid.
Yep. I still see a solar eclipse every time I close my eyes.
Isn't that annoying? You're like, wow, I didn't realize that I was this stupid.
Yep.
All over TV and everything, it's always like, whatever you do, make sure you don't look at it.
And yeah.
Look at these stupid
I think that was from when I was.
They, like, call me.
Go ahead. What?
Oh, I was just thinking, it was just funny, like how, news and everything was calling out people for doing silly things, and then
Yep.
You don't realize how easy it is to have that happen.
Yeah, I don't care to look at solar eclipses or any kind of eclipses. You look down. When those happen, you don't look up. You look down. So, yeah. No, use protection. Properly cover your eyes. So, whenever you might be able to see this one, but it just won't be as big, it says. You see a small scallop of the sun hidden by the moon. All right. Oh, here we go. Where's the next one? It will be the first of 2 partial solar eclipses in 2022. The second one occurs October 25th. Then we won't see another total solar eclipse until 2023. However, a total lunar eclipse follows this month's partial solar eclipse only 2 weeks later. So there's a lunar eclipse that happens on May 16th. As a reminder, people should always use protective solar eclipse eyewear when viewing a solar eclipse. Using the wrong gear or using it incorrectly can burn your retinas, causing irreparable damage to your eyes.
also known as irreparable. Yep.
Yeah, whatever, Miss Fancy Words.
I'm here to help.
Irreparable.
Yeah. I had to make myself feel a little bit better since I've admitted to the world that I burnt my eyes.
Yeah, now I'm doubly bad because I burnt my eyes and can't pronounce irreparable. Irreparables. Shut. Man, you're so mean.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at myself.
No, you're laughing at me now. It's horrible.
Oh.
Going back to the cave. All right, we're gonna
Let's
take
go
a
back
quick
to the cave.
quick few minute break, and then we have our tech section coming up. So starting off, we have Scott Kelly launches an NFT and raises $500,000. So let's see what he did. And then we'll only give away a couple of them. We're also going to talk about 3D printing to create cities of tomorrow, and metaverse, and some other tech stuff. Cool.
Nice. Can't wait.
We'll be back in
See
a
you in a
few.
minute.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, welcome back.
So, who's in our chat? Grandma wants
Yeah,
to
I
know.
saw that. We got a new viewer.
It's funny. She was like, Who said in the chat? I'm the only one allowed in chat.
That's not true. We can share.
It's like we have a community. We have a community. We have friends. We're
Yep.
all friends here. Grandma has to share the channel.
Hey,
So,
my sis is here.
huh?
And my sis is here. Hey, sis. Yep. We got a whole bunch of people now come in and checking out our show.
And they should, because they've missed some really important facts
Mm-hmm.
and information that
Yep.
will
Now,
help
now you're
them.
not gonna know what to do when there's a solar eclipse.
Yeah, like don't look at it. And what happens when you encounter a carnivore unicorn? You know, that's eating a dinosaur leg. You
Yep.
know, don't know. Don't know. I don't even remember what I should do when I encounter a rabid unicorn eating dinosaur leg. But Scott Kelly, he knows what to do. You go to space. That's what
And
you
then
do.
make an NFT.
And make an NFT. What kind of NFT did he make? He made an NFT called Dreams Out of This World. And I found inspiration in a book, which is called Tom Wolfe's The Right Stuff. That makes me think of like New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
Right
for
stuff.
Sure.
I think that's. I don't know any more of the song than that little itty bitty bit. I promise.
That's enough.
Yeah, it was enough to show that I'm aware of the New Kids on the Block, but at the same time, you don't know if I really did listen to it or if my sister just
And now
made
it's
me.
starting to seep into my head.
Yeah, no, my sister was all about the New Kids. The New Kids. So I really believe in the idea, blah blah blah. I want to see what
That's
he
a
made.
cool one. I like that guy.
Oh, that one's cool.
That is super cool. I like that it's got the monkey face inside of the helmet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then they go
For
on
some
to.
reason, it reminds me of Planet of the Apes, especially with us talking, the one with Mark Wahlberg, especially since we were just talking about black holes. That was a bad one. Bad Planet of the Apes.
That'd be cool.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to ask. Did you turn the music off?
Yep.
Okay.
I managed to get it. So his collection was on OpenSea, and they raised 500K in a few hours. And so is this where we get to go see the pieces? Yay! I was somewhere else, but it doesn't matter. Let's see how much they're selling for now. Really? You know, get the cool monkey with the space helmet? I wanted the cool monkey with the space helmet. You get the whole collection? No. Maybe you do. No.
Hmm.
I'm not liking this collection, Scott Kelly.
Well, at least it's for a good cause. We don't have to like it, right?
Yeah, no, we have to like it. It has to get our stamp of approval before he's allowed to. They're not very expensive, $209. So, in perspective, that's if you haven't been on OpenSea, then please go to it and kind of poke around. And you'll see what we're talking about on $209 being cheap. So,
Yeah, well, there was that girl. We talked about it. We haven't pulled up the articles. Um, There's a 14-year-old girl that's made a few
Ugh,
$1 million. $4 million. Whoa,
that's
that was
scary.
creepy.
Yeah, I want.
Here we go.
What else can I? There we go. I want to go see how much this one's going for. That's just not cool. So maybe you do get the whole collection when you buy it for 200. That would be a really good deal if you got all the pieces for $209. I mean, if you're again, this is assuming you're into wanting to collect artwork. Um, I
Yeah,
don't.
this would be awesome with the that picture frame like you had
Mhm.
that you got with the where you can show off your NFTs
The mural,
and your
yep.
picture.
Netgear mural for anybody that would be interested in it. Cool. All right, so we got a few more minutes. Let's see. We got a 3D printer rebuilding Ukraine. But I don't think they should really start on that quite yet. The metaverse is a fraud. And many thought the same of the internet. The internet was a fraud. Do you ever remember that?
Uh, um, not really. For some reason, the first thing I that comes up, I was thinking of when you said that is like on the news or anything when they would say a website, it would always started with www dot, and they don't do that anymore.
www. They did have to tell us that. They don't even
Oh
show
wait,
it in the browser anymore. If you look up at the browser, it's just cut off because they're like,
yeah.
we think everybody understands that, and if you don't need to know it.
Yeah.
So, basically, they're talking about 3D printing. If you're not aware, you can 3D print buildings now. And I forget what it's like it's kind of like a mortar, I think, less plasticky. Not, it's not like they're printing it with like if you're familiar with a traditional 3D printer, it's not like plastic like that. It's more of like a mortar, and then they basically the machine stands there and just builds the walls like you're seeing in this picture if you're able to view us. Um, and so then you can have these basically robotic arms doing the work, and it's all programmed. And what they're saying is they're integrating the metaverse, which makes sense because if you've done any 3D modeling, it's just software. And we've worked with companies before that do stuff for maybe 3D modeling of backyards, stuff like that, decking, fencing, things like that. And I did it when I was younger, a long time ago when I was a kid. I'd 3D model our house and kind of like try to build an exact replica of our house in a software that does that. So what they're doing is they're expanding that and modeling whole cities, but then they can go and print it more or less. You just put the machines in the right spots and they will print the walls and build that city for you. So that's kind of cool.
That is really cool. I What a great way to find out like help solve congestion problems before you even
Hmm.
start building roads and stuff. That's really cool. Oh yeah.
And that's exactly it. The AI can model more advanced public transportation roads where electric cars would be charged while being driven by an AI. Automated defensive capabilities. That would be maybe something that we can get away from if someday maybe we don't have to worry about that. Um, the AIs could help guarantee optimal use of resources, help eliminate waste. That's really what we should be more focused on. Um, so, pretty cool.
Oh, that's very cool. I like that.
If you haven't
Thank
seen
you
it,
so
build
much.
it. Here's a quick little video. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's nothing crazy groundbreaking, but it just makes
Yeah, it's
sense.
something. Yeah.
Huh?
but it's something. It's
Yeah, no, it's crazy because it just makes sense on how they do it. But if you think about it, all they're doing is like what I would consider old days building. You know, where you kind of piled up mud and let it dry,
hmm
right?
yeah.
So it's just kind of
I
that
mean,
we're back to that, and that just a robot does
yeah.
it now.
Well, and like where I live, most houses aren't wood because of the weather down here. It's all most of the houses are cinder block, so it's not. That seems like it wouldn't be too different. Instead of having to transport cinder blocks and doing all that, you're actually just building it on site. Maybe reducing some um, logistics
Mm-hmm.
issues.
Mm-hmm. Then you could build maybe more remote as long as you got power. I don't know.
hmm Oh yeah, like the places where it's really hard to get trucks and stuff.
Mm-hmm. You could have like a tube that shuttles up the mortar or cement, whatever they're using, right?
hmm
Um, and so then you wouldn't have to have a real roads to get all your lumber and everything. But, all right, the metaverse. So we're using it to build cities and model roads and all that. Um, the term metaverse is itself a problem. What is actually being discussed is a virtual world or a virtual universe if you combine multiple virtual worlds. The concept of virtual worlds is nothing new. Um, I don't know why metaverse term. However, this allows the anything goes mentality that allow the worst of the worst to come out in some people. Well, that's just the internet.
Yeah,
Not having
that's it.
to look at people when you say things. that, um, yeah, that's the problem, right?
Yep. Yeah. I don't know, but I think it also is like, yeah, it is. You get the worst of the worst, but I think you also get the best from from people that maybe you wouldn't have this place to go to. People might be more willing to try here because no one can see who they are. Huh.
Well, here you go. That's fancy big words. I
What?
got one for you. Bold.
Industry wide. Oh, interoperability. Interoperability.
There you go.
Does that feel right?
Do you know what that is going to be used for here?
Nope.
That is allowing you to transfer between the different virtual worlds.
Ooh.
The interoperability, I guess I got it. Interoperability. Um, would be is really important to make the metaverse take off, right? If we're
Yeah.
going to have multiple companies competing for the same consumers, they're going to want to allow it's going to be like you want to go from store to store in a mall. And it doesn't have to be a store, but even then there's going to be metaverses where people are going to have their house, you know, their virtual house. And I was talking with Teresa from that art place that we mentioned in Maui, the Heart International Gallery, and it would be, you know, you're inviting people over. People are going to want to decorate your house, and you're going to want to do that. But then, what standard is that going to be built on, and what company? It's going to be like Facebook or, um, you know, Twitter versus Instagram. And I know they're all different types of social media, and that's the point. You're going to have people living in um, certain worlds, and you're going to want to be able to transfer at the minimum your person, your virtual person between those. And then hopefully your artwork or your possessions, your fake your fake possessions. It's just funny saying it, but it's gonna be real. It's gonna be real fake. um, but you're gonna want to be able to transfer those. So then that means that there's gonna have to be some sort of standard between um, these different blockchains to be able to the building blocks are going to have to be built on that. And so then, your software developers and your companies are gonna all have to come to agreement at some point. Until that starts happening, everything's super fragmented, and it's just a big mess. Why is porn in this? I don't see that really come up in too many discussions. Other opportunity is pornography. No matter how you size it up, that's kind of funny. Porn has always driven the development and adoption of new media technology. That will only help accelerate virtual worlds. Yeah. I think
That's
an
an
enemy.
interesting point to
What?
throw in there. That's an interesting point to throw in there.
It is, but it is kind of true.
It totally is. Cause I just mean like you could not have it in there, and some people might think of it. I think it's relevant and everything. It's just one sentence, two sentences.
We're gonna have to get to VR AR glasses eventually. That'll help you realize it a lot more, actually enter that world. But I don't think it'll be a requirement, and it won't be a requirement for a long time. When I say long time, I'm gonna have to guess, at least 5 to 10 more years. Current VR and AR headsets I think are just gonna start hitting the market kind of heavy here in the next couple of years. And VR headsets are still crazy expensive, heavy, and not in a bad way, but just for mass market adoption.
Yeah.
Youth will drive the direction, but VR is awesome. If you haven't tried it, if you can, get to a virtual reality center and pay for a half hour. It's pretty cool, pretty dang cool.
Now I need to
try it. NFTs. See, the tricky part with NFTs, they're still going to be cross chain display. So your metaverse will need to be able to display multiple chains, or you're going to need an intermediary to do that. So I don't know, pretty cool. Still got a long ways to go. So it is a mess, I think there. If we go back to the top, metaverse or metamess? Metamess currently. Right?
It's decided, yep.
We're gonna skip this because we're almost done. More fraud, fakes, crypto scams. Oh, yeah. Malware is in decline. So, they're not putting stuff on your computers because it's not as open anymore. There's not as much money in it. It's still pretty open. Home networks are being targeted. Growth of zero trust. So enterprise continuously require authentication and monitoring of network behavior. Traditional VPNs and perimeter-based security are on their way out, making a case for zero trust networking. Yeah, we gotta log in like all the time.
Constantly.
Another development in 22 will be the increased importance of security at the edge of the enterprise. Okay. That's it? Okay, moving on. Trends from CES. If you don't know what CES is, Consumer Electronics Show.
I didn't know.
Vehicle technology. What do we got? Self-driving cars, electric cars, yeah, flying vehicles. There's a few motorcycles out on the market. Robotics are on there. This is like the same old, right? Yeah. Better robotic vacuums, robotic security, more drones, blah blah blah. Mixed reality. That's always cool. Mixed reality. I don't think we've experienced that. The closest we have right now is Pokemon Go. Connected appliances. Appliances will get smarter, definitely. Personal computers. Huh?
We had another article about.
It's right after this. Oh, how hard's your stop at 9:30? Hard?
Yeah, it's pretty close. We can.
We'll do. We have 2 articles. That's all we need. Yep. So televisions, we don't care about televisions. They're the same old. So Smart stuff. Amazon's making a super smart fridge, and I don't even know what this means. Um, there's a grocery market share prize. All major refrigerator brands want to have a replenish feature where consumers can have their products automatically replaced. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Um,
I
what do
can
we
see
got?
the value, but I just keep thinking like um there's so many things that we haven't perfected yet, like the ice maker. My ice maker's been broken for 2 years, and to you know have my fridge be smart enough to order my groceries, but it can't make an ice cube is just a little. I just have a hard time with it. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's just
I
me.
don't know. I don't use an ice maker, but I would agree. I guess I don't. I don't know. Most ice makers I've experienced, we can ask the community. Um, what's everyone's experience with ice makers? I think they worked. They work pretty solidly from what I see. I don't know. I don't have problems with them, so I'm going with they've perfected them already. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
you're doing with your ice maker, but um,
Just making ice.
I don't know.
Well,
My mom just got a new fridge, and I hear it go psh, and then like an hour later
well,
it
ours
goes
does that
thunk
too.
thunk. You know.
Ours started falling apart inside. So when it would um, dump the ice, it would also dump some of the inside, like the things that were creating the cube's shape. I'm assuming. So you would get like huge chunks of plastic, or you still do. That's why we have it turned off. And it's just I looked it up, and apparently that brand has
You look
issues.
frustrated.
I am frustrated because I don't have ice. It's very hot here.
Grandma says she's never had a problem with her ice maker. So
We'll have
it's
to
just
get
a personal
a
problem.
recommendation on a
Oh
better fridge
wait, we
then.
can do the poll, but I messed up my thing, so I don't have
No.
poll options. But all right, the final story. We have some STEM education superstars. So, for those that don't know what STEM is, science,
Science.
technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Mhm.
So, trying to introduce that in education. And these are three awesome teachers that did well, and they were honored by the GeekWire Awards, which is just the article where this is at, but still, it's awesome. What did they do? Stephanie Winslow is a teacher at South Kitsap, Sap,
Hits up.
Kitsap,
Hits up. Yeah.
Kitsap High School. She's a teacher of AP Science, Environmental Science, Astronomy, and Earth Science. So she likes earthy things. And what does she do? Her classroom inspires. Her lessons engage. She just, I guess, really implements a lot of STEM stuff. I
Is
didn't
it
know.
fun?
She sent kits home to make LED based electronics during COVID. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that's
She
awesome.
partnered with Naval Shipyard. That was cool. Cool, cool, cool. Link and I, we did LED kits. So those aren't, that takes a little bit of effort. Um,
Very cool.
so, Johanna Brown, a teacher at Pullman High School. She has brought established high achieving programs, including chemistry, computer science, to her Eastern Washington high school. She's also torn up the standard playbook for instruction. She embraces a gradeless classroom where instead of accumulating points, students demonstrate their mastery of subjects through inquiry, project based learning, and explaining the science so much better. Yes, that is so
Yeah.
much better. Okay,
I
I
love
was a
it.
little skeptical with gradeless, but the way she implemented it is exactly the way it should be. It's my complaint about Microsoft exams. It's just like you memorize to do tests, but you don't really understand the subject. You couldn't really do a real project. So,
Yeah. Or like me, I do horrible on tests,
mm-hmm.
but it doesn't mean that I don't know stuff.
Yep. This
Way
is
of
that's
erasing
this
that.
is the way that you should really demonstrate that you know it. It
Yep.
shouldn't be that you can just answer in tests. Now, there probably is some reason that tests it's quicker and then it's less effort for teachers, but there's probably something that it demonstrates that people know. You know what I mean? That may be showing. I don't know. Like showing is basically shows that you know how to do it, and explaining. If you interview people, it's pretty easy in our world. Just ask how they built it. If they can't explain how they built it, then they didn't build it or they didn't understand it. So
Yep.
that's awesome. So she teaches green sustainable chemistry. Pretty cool. She brings in guest teachers, including a poop scientist who studies the breakdown of dietary cow waste, Frito-Lay food scientist who explain how chips get their shape, and undergraduate researchers using liquid nitrogen. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And Davina Can, computer scientist and information technology instructional designer at West Valley Innovation Center.
I'm noticing all these teachers are out of Washington State.
Maybe that's where GeekWire is based out of.
I know. It's like great.
Yeah, it's a little strange that they didn't have a little more variance, but maybe that's where they have some of the. I'm gonna
The best
say,
teachers.
yeah, they have some really good teachers, or maybe they promote STEM a little more out there. I would imagine East Coast would too, though.
Yeah.
Not saying the Midwest doesn't. I'm just guessing that's where your larger universities are from. So that, like MIT and Caltech and stuff like that. So what does she do? She promoted tech education. Obviously, she did. Oh, guiding them to earning Microsoft certifications in the 7th grade. That's so funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that is hilarious. Three of her students won the Congressional App Challenge Award. Yeah, so she's just making awesome programmers. And then, of course, she has contacts at Google, Pixar, Facebook, Amazon, T-Mobile, Tesla, and Microsoft. I would say that's another obvious. If you're producing great programmers, you're going to get those companies to be interested. So, good job, ladies. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, those are awesome. Man,
yep.
I hated school, and the idea that stuff like this is happening now, it's super cool and exciting.
I'm just jealous.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous too.
But
I always enjoyed my science classes, but I didn't think it was because I would be good at it. I just thought they were fun. It
yeah.
just took me like another 20 years to decide that I should go, put a little more effort into it.
Yeah, I might have got into programming. I mean, I was early into programming, but really getting real skills earlier. Instead,
Yep.
I got engineering skills. It's just funny. So, all right. I think that's it.
Yeah, that was fun. We did it again.
We did it again. So, next show, Wednesday, April 20th, we're going to cover digital wallets. They have some new tech coming out. Hopefully. Probably more security features, maybe easy use. And then we're going to dive into the blockchain building game. Probably talk a little bit about NFTs, but it being our shorter show, we won't be able to talk about anything, too many topics, too many various topics.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah,
and then,
we'll
go ahead.
get started building that game, like you said.
Yep. And then next week, we will be talking about space or ocean. How space is far superior to research than ocean.
That's not what the question is.
Yeah.
The question is what is more important, most important to
Nope.
explore.
Yeah, that's as I said, it's space is just better than ocean, so that means it's automatically more important to explore. Yep.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, we'll have a lot to talk about next Saturday.
All right. I'll talk to everyone later. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.